A new recipe tonight. It was chicken salad BLT. Yummy, yummy. Want the recipe? Let me know. It was keto friendly.
Oh.
So we're going to look at our annual catalog. And what I wanted to talk about are punches, right? So punches start way back on page 147. Oops. And remember, the punches are their actual size in the catalog. You can bundle them at times so that, well, they're the gray. You can bundle them so you can save 10%. And you can, when you buy a punch, make a little template like this. So here's, I just wanted to show you that it is truly the actual size of that punch. But what I would suggest is if you have any of these punches that are, I call them word holders, like things that you put greetings in, if you hold on, if you do this and put them like on a little piece of paper, you can kind of see which ones fit without a lot of manipulation. So you're my person, smile, but I'm going to show you how to get around that a little bit too. But sometimes you just want to know what fits. So that's kind of a trick. So, I mean, I have all the ones I have. I don't have ones I don't have, but because how would I do that? I don't even know. So we're going to come back to the catalog. Excuse me, in a little bit. So have that handy because right now we're going to talk about the first one is, whoops. Da, 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 da. And then I'm singing the lake. No, goodness. Here's another little trick. All right, so we're going to talk about labeling me lovely, which is that shape. When you get a punch, it might be good to write down your name, or not your name, well, your name too, but the title of the punch so you can remember what that's called. I don't know what these are called, and I work with them a lot. So Label Me Lovely is a lovely punch. They, of course, store closed. This slides back and forth. If it pops out, we can certainly put it back in. We just have to do some finagling. Speaking of finagling, so here is the basis of how punches work, right? So I stamped this already, so you didn't have to watch me stamp, and punched it out. Use this new stamp set called Biggest Wish. And it is one of my favorite new sets. I love it. And I think you're going to see a lot of it and probably get sick of it. I don't know, but how handy. And I love the double font thing. Anyway, so using the Biggest Wish, I'm going to put that over here so you can see that. Maybe. I stamped this. This is Bumblebee. This is Real Red. Punched it out. Now, if I layer it on my card, on this designer series paper, that's going to be gone at the end of June. If you like the mushroom snailed it sweet, it's kind of boring. It's pretty flat, but you can do some fun layering, right? So I have my punch and I didn't do anything to it. I just cut it. I'm going to layer it. So then you can have an offset. I do this a ton in my classes, and I think you all probably can guess what I'm going to do is you can cut this person, cut the person in half. Oh my goodness. Cut your punch in half, and then you can layer that. And then you have a little frame for your punch. Or you can get really crazy and do another one. So I'm going to go here ahead and grab my adhesive. I'm a little bit more organized than last week, oddly. Couldn't be worse. So I'm going to, now be sure if you have any questions. I have someone watching the Facebook live feed so they can ask questions. You can ask questions there, type them in and she'll respond. Let me know. And if you're watching on Zoom, you can certainly ask a question. So that's kind of how you can get just a top and bottom kind of look. But if you want more, I cut it in half this way now. And I'm going to put some more adhesive. Now, people have asked me about our adhesive, and our Stamp and Seal is pretty It's got a good learning curve, and I'm not sure how to explain how to do it yet. So if you ask me, I might not tell you to order it. So that's a bad thing, I think. Stampin' Up! Needs to fix it, but this punch doesn't work very well with this idea. But in theory, I should be able to just offset this a tish. And how I'm going to do that, this is how I roll, peeps. I'm going to cut this off because all I want is that little lippy guy on the side. I'm going to, now some of the stamps you don't have to do that, but this one you did. So I like that better than having a double scallop. It's probably really hard to see. So you can kind of see the second. So that's where the first scallopy ends. And then I should have done it in a different color. So I'm going to, is this hard? Oh my gosh, I have so many punches, I don't even know what I'm doing. All right, so that being said, that's how you can find words that fit in your Label Me Lovely punch. See, now I know what that's called. The next thing you're gonna find out though is, hold on, please hold. I think this was it. Okay, so I have Happy Birthday, which this isn't gonna fit. Not gonna fit at all. But if you cut your paper, I'm gonna flip it around a little bit. If you cut your paper to be at least the size of your punch, and right now I just kind of measured right here because all I wanted was this part to work. And so I am going to take my larger piece of paper, I'm gonna slide it into my punch and I'm gonna pull it up. Well, in theory, I'm going to do it this way though, because I want the scallopy stuff to be looking at a mirror image. So then I'm just going to kind of play and I'm going to line it up so that it's pretty much the same and punch. And so now you can see I have a much longer label punch, but how cool is that? So you can make your punches work for any size, depending, as long as you can cut the paper to the right size. And so I'm gonna show you kind of what I mean by that. So that's it for Label Me Lovely punch. And I couldn't find any examples in the catalog that showed us how to change that up a little bit. All right, our next punch that I'm gonna focus on is the Essential Tag. And really it's just a tag, right? So it's just a plain old Jane tag, and or Joe or Fred. And so what I wanted to do is show you, this is, I have a card on the buffet that I for some reason don't have over here. Anyway, we used a tag die for that one, but you can certainly do the same thing for a tag punch, right? You get the same look. It just to be a little shorter. Let me go get that card. I need Stretch Armstrong arms. So this is the buffet card, and then this is using that tag. Now this tag doesn't have a hole punch. So how did I get that hole in my tag? Well, let me tell you. So you're going to go ahead and punch your punches, line your words up like that, and then you're going to take this punch called Label Me Fancy, and I'm going to use this circle for my hole for the ribbon. So how I did that is I just took a pencil, and let's just pretend that I have a new one, and I just made I eyeballed it. I did not, no, that's not true. I used a grid paper because this is about 4 centimeters. And so what the halfway mark, I just kind of made a pencil mark where I wanted my punch to be, my hole. And then I lined it up like this. And I could see that it's in there. Hopefully you can see that. You can kind of see, ooh, there it is. And then punch. Now, what you can do once you get one punched already is you can just kind of put both of them in there and just make sure you're lining up where it's already been punched with hasn't been punched. I wouldn't try punching too many pieces of our cardstock together because it's pretty thick. Whisper White, a couple maybe together, but other than that, this stuff is super thick. And then you can kind of do a ribbon if you can find it. Stick that through, and how I stick that through usually is not a pencil, but you know what? That piercing, that take a pick tool works really well, but so does a pencil. And so then I can go ahead and layer this like that. And so I can do that with a tag. So when you see samples that use dies, think about what you own and say, how can I get more bang for my buck out of what I own? And so you don't necessarily need every die. Well, I'd love it if you wanted to buy every die, but that would just be cost prohibitive, I'd say. That stamp set was You Are Amazing. We used the Happy Birthday. This stamp set's retiring at the end of June. So if you're interested in it, order before the end of June. But what if you wanted, he's going to
order, make sure you ask what the hostess code is.
Oh, yes, the host code for this month, and I'm going to update my website tomorrow. I've been kind of taking a break. My hand has been kind of sore. The host code, if you want to order before June 14th, it is KEKV35M2, and I will post that for you. So I have this piece of paper, and you know how you can measure how big of a piece of paper you need. Or you could punch out, where is that? Punch out the tag, punch, or whatever tag you want to elongate. And you just got to make sure you have the width the same way, the same distance. Oh my God, I don't know why I'm doing centimeters. So this is 1 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5/8. 1 5/8. So you want your paper to be a smidge smaller than 1 5/8, which this is. And then we're going to do that same trick. I want it to be thank you. I want the punch up there. And so I'm going to go ahead and use my scoring or my trimming tool or scissors because that's what's close. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut this off. So that's the bottom of my tag. And then I'm going to slide this through, pull it out so it's not being punched back here, and then get my tag topper. And then I can go ahead and put that little circle in there and then just put that on a gift bag that I'm giving to somebody as a thank you. Simple, but way longer, way longer than the original. So you could have any size tag you would want. Okay, so that's the tag punch. And let's see here. Let's clean up our space. Keep it tidy. Keep it tidy. All right. The next one, is not that one. Interesting. Okay. The next one is this timeless, this everyday. No, Label Me Fancy. See how hard it is? So Label Me Fancy. Here's an example of me taking a gorgeous grape one, punching it, cutting it in half, and then offsetting it a little bit so I had a frame around it. This one, I'm going to show you how to do this little slit punch because that's part of the whole punch thing. And you can do some ribbon and do some fun things. It gives it a totally different look, doesn't it? So how do you figure out where to punch those things? Well, what I decided today, and Anne was here, and I'm like, I'm so smart. I was just very proud of myself, clearly. I punched just a piece from my paper, like my note paper, and then I folded it in half. This is super, super scientific, right? Fold it in half, drew a line down the middle. And then I took my punch and I lined up said line and I eyeballed it. So I wanted it to be in the middle of that slit. And then once I had it, I held it And then I drew little Sharpie marks so that I didn't have to do this every single time. So then I get my thing and I put a little pencil mark where I want my slit to be. And then I can go in here and so I can line that part up where my slit is. Oop. It's hard to see. Let's make that darker. This is where I want my slit. And then I want it to be centered. So I have to kind of do both centering, which we've all done this kind of thing before. I have to put it down though, because I can't center it and push down and hold it. All right, good. And so now I can take my ribbon, and this stamp is from a Grand Kid. It's a carryover. It's in the mini catalog. No, it was in the annual catalog. And so you can just go ahead and you can be really fun and creative with your ribbons, or you can use thicker ribbon. That's not going to look. Thicker ribbon, which I don't really have apparently. So just pretend this is like matches the whole card. And then I just tucked that in underneath. Now, if I was thinking ahead, I would have used Gorgeous Grape. Anyway, cute, different way to use your punch than, you know, just offsetting it or shortening it up and just kind of, so you have to look at your punches like little pieces of treasures that you can create different things. Okay, so that's it for that punch. Then, I know you've all seen me do this. Okay, so here we've done, this is another one. I've done it a ton, the tailor tag, and I punch it in the back. And this one I actually used 2 different pieces, but I don't know why. Why did I do that? I don't know. I wanted more showing. I'm not sure. And I wanted to show you the other thing you can do with this. If you are bad at making, you know, you don't like to do the tag thing where I say you can just go up the middle of your cardstock and then cut to that where you put that in. It's not foolproof. It's not going to be perfect. But again, remember, it's handmade. So that's pretty good. Or you can use your tailor tag punch and slide that in there. Figure out where you want this. You can have a as big as you want, or you can line up the edges and then punch, and then you have a tag. A little trick to get more for your books, right? All right. And just sweep that on the floor and my maid will clean it up. I don't have a maid. Okay, so the second to last punch we're going to talk about is the everyday label punch. Now, this punch has been around for a while. And again, you can go see what words fit in there and all that good stuff, like I said. Or you can use it and shorten it just by cutting it off where you need it, which is what I did with this card. The other thing you can do, I see what I did. I used the wrong piece of paper. Oh my, I didn't want to have to stamp, but I'm gonna. So this is one of our new stamps called Best Year, and it's in our new annual catalog. And it's so new, I only have 1 stamp ready to work on, but that's okay because I wanted that one. So it's kind of fun. It's kind of a fun font, mixed font, just like that other stamps that I showed you before. All right, so it's not straight, but it's good enough for today. And then I'm going to take my punch. Now again, this is just a little skinnier than that punch, or it's exactly that way. It's exactly the size. And because my sentiment is crooked, it's going to look weird. But you saw I took, and these do come out a lot. And a lot of times you'll see I just get rid of them. And it's like, ugh, annoying. Annoying. It's a flaw in the design. Oh, see, so this is what I used to do. I used to stick this in here and it would never work. And I'm like, how do these people do that? Well, hello. You put it inside where you have a better control and then you pull it through. So then you can have, and if you stamp straight, it looks great. So then you can have, like this guy is totally a different size, but it doesn't matter. That's also how you can layer, if you want, a little bit better. Does that make sense? By layering, I mean, let's see here. I'm gonna do this quick. Other thing about punches is if you can't reach, your piece of cardstock is too small, Post-it notes are great for that. You can hold on to your piece like this, stick it in and punch. This is not the punch. This is the punch. Okay, but never mind. Or you can use your take a pick tool and hold it. I don't even know what I was going to show you. Oh, I do. I do now.
Layering.
Thank you. If I had a strip, and this isn't the right size, but I'm just going to wing it and use a scissors because my trimmer's is in my desk back there. And not good. It's not straight. We all know we've been there. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and slide this through. Whoops, still not quite. See, if I had measuring my cutting plate, my cutting thing, I could cut that. My cutting thing. Those are technical terms, not to be used by amateurs. Oh my goodness. All right. I'm going to slide it through this, and I'm going to punch, and then I'm going to grab my thank you so I can kind of see how big to make it. I'm going to slide those two through and layer this so I know. Well, hello. I am really quite dingy tonight. This is not good because I have another presentation to do in a little bit. Okay, for a Stampin' Up group. Okay, so then you're going to have your punch like that. And apparently it's wider at the end, but you get the point now. I hope that you can do that kind of layering. So you got to think out of the box a little bit with these punches. But I think once you start doing that, you go, oh, wait, it's like one of those tricks and tips that you can remember sometimes. And then I'll show you at a buffet and you'll go, oh, yeah, that's right. I can do that, hopefully, or I show you in a video. Okay, the last one I wanted to show, and there's a lot of samples in the catalog, and we're going to go through that about these different, what you can do with a rectangular postage punch. Try saying that 3 times. So this is just the standard size of the punch. And I've seen a lot of cards like that, and I'll show you an example. But then I thought, well, how can we make it better or more, I don't know, flexible? How can we do that? How can we make flexibility work here? So then I lose my piece of paper. I bet Anne took it home with her.
It's on your desk.
No, I moved it. I put it away. I was cleaning up. I know it's a shocker, everyone. Do not have a heart attack. It's okay. I'm okay. Oh, it's right here on my desk. Oh, Anne.
I didn't know if that was what you were looking for or not, but
Good gravy. All right. So because this paper is very directional, I want my smaller rectangle to be this direction. So what I'm going to do is I kind of just, my first one I punched, I just totally just punched it. And then I said, I want this to be shorter. So then after I made a bunch, I thought, well, I better count. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I cut this. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Whoops, busted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so I'm going down 8 notches and then punching it out. So why I wrote a 7 on here is because I wanted to go at least past the 7 so that I had a big enough piece. So then I'm going to count, put it in the sideways and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and punch there. And now I have my last rectangle. That's much thicker than that one. So we're going to go back here to 7. That's what I was, oh, jeepers. People, work with me. Do as I say, not as I do. This is the only one you have to go on the inside, which is a really kind of a pain sometimes, especially when you're in camera. I'm just going to make it a little smaller. And then you go ahead and you layer it. Simple, easy peasy, as I would say. And then you can finish up your card. Now, I think we're going to head off to our annual catalog. So if you want to grab that, I'm going to show you on some pages. Oh, well, there's the butterfly, the dragonfly I was going to add. Well, who cares? So on the annual catalog, page 36 is an example where they use the right up here, this one that is amazing. They used that postage stamp that I just did, and they put it in like this. Got that zaggedy edge on one end, and then put it in like I've been doing. Pull it through. Nope, let's try that again. Remember, you got to do the opposite edge. Okay, so pull that through again and punch it. And so now I have like a ticket punch with a straight edge because that's smaller. Makes sense, I hope. Good. The next one is right here, and that's the same postage punch, but you can see how they use different sizes. And the trick is to count those notches and not be on camera, I think. The next one I want you to look at, is page 110. And if you're gonna, so this is using a punch, and it doesn't look like there's a punch, and I had to like actually look at the instructions, which I don't usually have to do, but I'm like, what are they talking about? Well, what they did is they used the oval punch to corner, reverse corner around that craft color, a crumb cake color. So they just took their oval punch and they lined it up in the corner, and then they got that. So it works better.
Cool.
It is cool. It works better with an oval punch than a circle punch, which doesn't make sense, but hey, maybe because we don't have any circle punches left in the catalog. So if you had a circle punch, you can probably do this too. And then you have that reverse kind of look, which really adds something to a colorful card or something like that. Okay. Yeah. And then on page 170, again, with that postage punch, they made it a rectangle, a skinnier rectangle. So you can get a lot of bang for your buck with a punch. You can do a lot of the same techniques with a die. It's just not quite as easy to show, but you can do just pulling it through, feeding it through, and watch the video again if you need to, but I'll be featuring the stuff on my buffet that I haven't created yet, that it's going to start next week. So that's exciting. A few are returning, but I'm going to make some more. So thanks for joining. If you have any questions, type them in, let me know. Stay cool this week. I know we all we complain about the cold, so you really shouldn't complain about the heat, but good gravy, a little bit of in between. So don't forget the great things about this slit and that, and I will try to highlight some of those again in my buffet, like I said. Thanks for joining, everyone. Have a great evening and stay cool.
Thanks, Leanne.
Yep, thanks.
Bye.
Bye.